Hello again, everybody. Baldwin Barnes with you with another Pastor's Corner. I'm delighted to be with you again. And today I want to talk about the 11th commandment. In the book of Exodus, chapter 20, are listed 10 commandments that God wrote with his own finger and gave to Moses on tables of stone, probably sapphire stone, but that's another point. Today, I want to talk about the 11th commandment because if there's anything after the 10 that God did in Exodus 20, then that must be the 11th commandment, right? So Ronald Reagan in 1966 had an 11th commandment, and it was something like, thou shalt talk no ill, or thou shalt speak no ill of a fellow Republican. In 1998, Jeffrey Archer wrote a novel, The 11th Commandment, and his 11th commandment was, thou shalt not get caught. I imagine that Tyler Perry's Medea's 11th commandment might be peace, P-I-E-C-E, peace, be still, S-T-E-E-L. That's another joke, right? But let's get serious for a moment. Jesus had a new commandment. In John chapter 13, verse 34, Jesus says, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. But he added a caveat. He said, as I have loved you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. An author, fairly prolific author, Letitia Lovely, she wrote a book titled The 11th Commandment. And her 11th commandment went something like this. You should know yourself. Excellent. And uphold yourself, and let unconditional love be the only kind that you show yourself. So you should know yourself, you should uphold yourself, and let unconditional love be the only kind that you show yourself. That's a modern way of speaking a new commandment. The psychologists Harville Hendricks and Helen LaKelly Hunt, they have an 11th commandment which goes something like this. Thou shalt not shame, blame, or criticize. Or is it, thou shalt not blame, shame, or criticize? Whichever it is, thou shalt not blame, shame, or criticize another or the other, or even yourself. Thou shalt not blame, shame, or criticize for any reason at any time. Landmark Education Corporation has another way of saying love. They say love is accepting the other exactly the way they are and exactly the way they are not. What we're talking about here in the 11th commandment is that you and I have a duty and obligation to treat ourselves and one another the way God would have us to treat ourselves and one another. And so as you go throughout the week, this week, interacting with others and being aware of yourself, what you think about yourself, how you speak to yourself, like in the back of your mind, what are you saying to yourself? I want us to be aware that we have an obligation in the 11th commandment to love one another the way Jesus loved us. And the way he loved us is that he loved us unconditionally. He accepted us just as we were and just as we are not. He gave himself for us no matter what, no matter whether we're for him or against him. He gave himself so that we might have the freedom to choose to love him, to love each other, and indeed to share with the world who he is in all the commandments from beginning to end. Be careful out there and make sure that others know who you love and how much you really, really love them. God bless. See you next time. Bye-bye.